you switch up your list. I know you had a few more days to kind of discuss. That's why you wanted to go back. That's the real
Well,
reason. You
so
didn't feel
I was thinking,
confident in your
I
first.
was really thinking about it. Hey, yeah, y'all about to get this informal talk here, man. This Patreon listeners, y'all been with us for a minute and everything. Went no introductions and all. Uh, we sitting here to talk about breakdown first quarter, top 5 albums, top 5 indies that we think should check out. And I won't tell you right now, Cash. I remember last year, I probably would have been hard pressed to get that top 5 versus the indies would have been flooded in that top 5 albums, but this year, the industry been coming back with a force and they didn't put out some great albums. There's gonna be some surprises of what's not on my list. I think that's gonna go through. But yeah, as you were saying, man, yeah, I done had a couple changes since it sat with me, sat with me for a couple days and got to rethink and really like draw down on what I'm liking. I don't know if we'll do honorable mentions later.
Yeah,
I'll
we
go
can
ahead
get
and
to
say
that
those at
after.
the end
Yeah, we
after
could
that.
get to
But
the
I mean,
honorable mentions.
but
Yeah.
I'm not gonna mix them in at all initially going in. Don't stick to my list. Don't try to do that for once.
For sure.
Uh,
Same here. Same here.
so want to tell y'all right now when we're going through this list this time around, this is first quarter, only first quarter. We will go back a little bit into December for those albums that kind of like dropped in between our 21 list
Tell them
and everything.
about
They can
tell them about what we changed. So before they start saying, "Oh, that came out in December."
Yeah. So y'all know, like when we're doing these lists, we really do think deep into it, and we actually go throughout the year. Like we be keeping our little playlists or albums that we think great, and then we go back and reanalyze at the end of the year to try to keep it as as thorough as possible. Make sure we ain't got no recency bias on everything. But with that, if an album comes out in December, it kind of gets lost in the mix because you're grading these other ones on this scale, and you'd have heard them all year long, and you don't want to jump on like one of those too quick. So it may don't even must get put in that right position in the on your end of the year list. So we kind of hold off and we're adding that December time frame right around after Thanksgiving. That's usually like when we start like saying, well, we're gonna get starting to do our wrap up. So, but I say December 1st on are still kind of game
Yeah,
for being
yeah.
on this.
Because look, think about it. Like a lot of the joints that dropped in March, there were some fire joints that dropped in March. Personally, from guys that I've been checking for, and I'm like, okay, because I'm always scouting indie artists to possibly come on the podcast. So there was like 2 that dropped at the end of the month where I was like, they definitely have to be in the discussion later on. But I've already sat with some other ones. You know what I mean? So
Yeah,
kind of
yeah.
they was in the same instance, but eventually, when we do our mid-year wrap up, you can bring those back to the forefront because then you'll have 3 months to already live with some of those albums. You know what I mean? So I can't really fake jacks and just be like, yeah, I'm gonna throw this in. I know I enjoyed it off first listen, but I haven't sat with it to really kind of speak to it off the top of my head, and it'll be real strategic or whatever. But before we keep going, man, so we're gonna have our top albums. These are like the people that y'all should know, household names, and if you're a rap lover. And then we have some indie artists, some we've had on the podcast, some we haven't had on the podcast. Just folks like that. And then before I even really get into it, just want to shout out our Patreons. Quay, she's been around since day one. So shout out to her. Corey.
Yeah. Day
Yeah.
one again. Before day one, actually.
Yeah. He was. I don't even think we really had the tears up and what the podcast was gonna be before he threw down his monthly subscription and hadn't stopped since. So shout out to him for that. Errol. The foundation. Errol. He's been an early supporter. Hopefully all y'all just forgot about the subscriptions and y'all just keep going. Y'all just support, so y'all support. Ryan, Tyrus, Rodney, Raw Dog Jenkins. We got my man John, Blessings on Blessings Davis, James, aka King James, he supporter, And we got our latest supporter, Day Andrade. And of course, last but not least, Prez and I. We actually subscribe to our own podcast. You know what I'm saying? So
Gotcha.
we believe, how could we ask you to put in anything if we ain't even supporting our own thing? You know what I mean? So that's just what I want to do before we kind of get too far into the music. So we're gonna nerd out here, you know what I mean, and just do what we do, man. And y'all have this first, and we'll put this out at some point in the next week or so.
Yeah, man. Oh man, it should be out today if we do this right. We don't mess
Okay.
up, man.
All right.
If I
Let's
got
get
minimal editing, it'll be out today.
it. Gotcha. All right.
All right, so we got two categories. We ain't gonna go like in deep like we usually go on like at the end of the year, but these are just gonna be top five indie slash EP albums. So they can be a full indie album or they could be an EP. It's just a mixture up in there on this one. And then we're gonna have our top five, what we call like mainstream or our main top five of uh of the quarter. So starting off, man, number five. I'll let you start off. I always start off, man. I'll let you start off this time. Number five on your side for indie EP. What you got?
Number
I know we're
5.
gonna have different lists this time, man. A lot of music came out. I know we're gonna have some things that's similar, but I know our style of music and what we enjoy and listening to gonna kind of show a little bit more on this one.
Yeah, by number 5. Now again, this ain't rankings. We just giving you 5 because we had to, just make the list low. So I'm not ranking. It's just my 5 before we get into it. So at 5, I got Elzai and Muldrow Zeitgeist. We just covered that album. We're probably gonna drop the video today at some point on YouTube. So make sure you go check that out. Quick little review we did on that, but again, as I sat with this project and over again, as I listened to it, I realized that I actually, rock with this project just based on what we said in the review. It sounds lively. It sounds like Elzai is re-energized. I love the production. It's upbeat. It feels like a spring record. Feels like a summer record. I love when I can play lyrical shit in the midst of my 808s and my southern driven rap, or just the stuff that's more jovial, more happy in the springtime, summertime frame. And I love when lyricists do that. And he's floating all over the tracks, multiple punchlines that he has in there. I mean, I caught the punchline that you mentioned during the review where he was, what did he say? Me, the me line or whatever.
Yeah.
So I caught that. The Jay-Z line, kill everything that don't play dead. It's just on and on and on. It's just a lot of one-liners. They fit in the scheme of the project. You know what I mean? Went out to LA, did his thing. I felt the vibes. I felt the vibes and the energy of the project throughout. So that's my number 5. I thoroughly enjoyed Zeitgeist. And, if you guys know about Elzai, but just haven't really been checking out things that he's been dropping consistently. He's a guy that drops every year to 18 months. So he's consistent with it. Maybe underground, but this is one of the projects that rose to the forefront for me from him that I really would send to anybody that likes hip hop, because I think it's just dope overall. It doesn't matter what you're into rap wise. I think you would like this.
All right. Number 5 for me, oh man, this is going to be one of our frequent visitors now on the podcast, man. Patty Huncho, Brawler 5. Uh, I just minute we got it. I think we got this ahead of time too when he gave it to us, man. So it was kind of sitting with me for a little bit. Love the intro, how he comes in a little bit more energized than usually on these right here. Like he was coming into it, like the name of the series, Brawler 5. But this one seemed like he was really coming in for a fight. He was coming to lay it down and just hit a haymaker on somebody, just let everybody know that he here now. You know what I mean? Just listen to his other albums and how it kept coming with this. It was more energy given on this, and it was evident from that intro. Then as he got into later in the album, you had Built a Land, where he getting a little bit more thoughtful in his pen game and stuff like this, and actually crafting a little bit of conscious rap in there. So then and then you had Integrity, you had Broke Even, and What's Love Without You, where he kind of explained a little bit, get a little bit more opened with itself on the album. So yeah, I really thought Brawler 5, like I said, go back, peep the interview that we actually had with him, but it was one of those that kind of stayed in rotation uh ever since like it didn't drop. So
Yeah, and that's my number 4. Brawler 5
oh,
in terms of just on my list. So we'll stay with that. More to kind of what you said to add on. It's a lot of random bars and references on here that really throw you for a loop where you like, that's like, you have That's So Raven lines. Like, you forget that he's as young as he is rapping about what he's rapping about until certain subject matter comes up, or just like bad predictions in terms of the Lakers getting Russell Westbrook and just things like that. You know what I mean? So super ambitious, super wrong, very lyrical. The production by Greenery throughout this whole entire project is stellar as well. So this is a young Jersey artist that I think if you guys give him a listen, automatically every single person that we put on people that used to listen to rap like we listen to rap. We put on people
lap listeners.
lapsed listeners. They know who they are. Marty, our homie, Marty Stacks. I don't even know if Stacks listened yet, but Marty, wanted to call him out on that every single time I get until he gets back into it. You know what I mean? But yeah. So anybody we put on to it, whether they are avid listener of hip hop and they really search for underground and new artists, or they've loved it. You know what I mean? So when you can hang your hat on that, that's all I ask for as a guy that puts people on the music, is somebody that is going to make somebody hit me back right after they listen to it. And Patty's been getting great reviews from it.
Yep. All right, then I guess that'd be number 4 to me. Number 4 to me was Miles Monday. Superheroes Don't Exist.
All right, who's
And
this?
I think you asked this the time when I did the review before. It's one of those artists that I know I like. Is going to be a little bit more like he used to tend to deal with like the little lo-fi beats and stuff like this. But he has been on he was on NBA 2K21. He had a song on there, How It Is. So he's like getting a little bit more of a push, but still a little bit more underground on all this. So he's from New York, I think, like somewhere in New York. But this was like 33 minutes, 11 songs on there. The first 4 songs really come out. They stand out real quick, so it grab you in. That was Mother Nature, Horizon, Never Meet Your Heroes, and then he had Young King featuring Mick Jenkins. You remember? Do you know Mick Jenkins? Do you listen to Mick Jenkins?
Not anymore, but I'm still
Okay.
familiar with him.
Okay, yeah. So he come out the gate, with those are strong songs on there. So if you pop this on, you're definitely like you know how we are on intros, man. So you gotta come through with the intros. The intro was enough, to grab you in, and then those first 4 songs like keep you engaged. Then kind of switch it up a little bit. Still great music on that little portion, but then he picks it back up again at the end. It was like Save Yourself and One Day Never Comes, man, and it's just another one of those projects that I like. It's my style of music. The artist I've been following for several projects now. I think I first started hearing him several years ago. He used to drop like freestyles every Monday, Miles Monday. That's how he got his like little name and stuff like this. So, but yeah, just following on that end, And don't ask me how I stumbled on him back then. I don't know. I don't remember. But he got in the rotation some kind of way, and I just been following throughout his whole career. He dropped his debut album probably about a year and a half ago. So
Okay. All right. I'm gonna try to listen. Because this is the second time you mentioned him, so I'll see what it's like. At number 3 for me, I have Jamar Johnson, T the Truth, and Day Andrade with the big 3. It was an EP, quick little 5-6 joints on there if I remember correctly. But I remember when we were reviewing it and going to have them on the podcast, sometimes when we're interviewing guys or preparing for the podcast, it's like, okay, it naturally catches you and you really excited for the interview. And for different reasons, you're excited for different interviews. But for this big 3 one, we talked about the Scalabrini line, how he was bold enough, how T was bold enough to start it off with just something out of the blue that would take you off to where like, why is he talking about Scalabrini? But it worked, like underdogs. These guys are relatively unknown to probably a lot of people that we're talking to right now. Boston, they're not officially a group. They are both solo artists, but they just came together for this project. And I think they should do more of these projects, you know what I mean? Which they said they would. So again, it's a quick EP. Lot of dope joints on this EP. I just want to name a few that I enjoyed of this EP. I think I got it on here. But yeah, 500 Ball, NBA Records, Easy, boom, boom, boom. Right back to back to back. And I love the production. I love the raps. Everything married up really well. But those 3 joints caught me. The skits, the interludes, everything fit. I'm not the biggest fan of interludes and they not be going into a actual record. You know what I mean? Because that's just not my thing. But sometimes they're done really well, like a Little Brother. You know what I mean? And this really fit the theme of the album, everything that they use. So I actually enjoyed it more so than I typically do. So that's always a win when you can kind of get me on board with something I'm not particularly fond of. So overall, y'all should check it out. Group from Massachusetts, Rhode Island, respectively. Individual solo artists, they formed a group and they'll be doing this periodically. So yeah, check out the Big 3 by T the Truth, Jamar Johnson, and De Andrade. So that's my number 3.
Okay. Number 3 for me is going to be Ian Kelly and Hitman Dot. Did you listen to this one, Long Way Home?
Nah, I haven't got a chance to get to that, man. Tell me about it.
Yeah, so it's like four songs. The guy is from Oakland, California. Ian Kelly, that's one I'm talking about. He's with I don't know how to say this record company, but the one, what's ninth one, the correct company? Jamla.
Yeah.
Yeah. He's with them. So that's the record label that he with. And 4 songs, man. The guy, he had some prior work out there. I went back and looked at it. Sounds a little bit different. This thing sounds a little bit more industry driven. Like it could pop off at any time. But you can see his skills are there. You can see he does things a little bit different. Ain't falling in that same mold of anybody else on there. So I like the different vibe that he was bringing. And if he could go out there and do his thing, the music was a little bit more was more upbeat. 4 songs, just trying to give it that introduction. It seemed to give him like a little push on there, man. But it was good. The 4 songs: Long Way From Home, Dead Presidents, I'm Going, Down Slow, and all of them are good, man. 4 songs. You better come out with them all being good, man. So yeah, they're
no room for error.
no room for error on that. And then he didn't, man. He didn't disappoint. Matter of fact, he kind of overachieved and overexceeded my expectations when I first turned it on. I was like, I give it a shot, and then I was like, man, okay, pleasantly surprised, man. I find myself definitely coming back to those 4. They definitely find onto my playlist for the first quarter. So
cool. All right. Ian Kelly. All right. I had to check that out. Now, I mean, you dropped the 9th Wonder bomb on me. Why did you lead with that? Just lead with that. Lead with that. If it's a cosign by 9th Wonder.
But it's not. It's so, but I don't want you to get confused because you're gonna think like a 9th Wonder type beat. And I'm telling you, this one,
he doing his own. He doing his own
type
thing.
Of vibe whatsoever. Like, yeah. Like I'm saying, like I think he's standing out on his own on this one right here, man. And like I said, 9th Wonder, North Carolina.
It's something to be said for that. It's something to be said for
everything about it. Yeah.
It's something to be said for that to sign to a certain label that's known for something, but do you know what I mean, and use what they do sparingly. So I rocks with it. I rocks with it. Be your own, man. You probably get a lot further in terms of what they're doing on the record label because you stand out. So
yeah,
I rock with it. At number 2 for me, I got a Shadow in the Shade 2. JR solo joint with A.O. Shamir. We covered that as well. So you guys check that out as well. If you missed that, give you a quick little 10-minute review. But to sum it up in a nutshell, I think this was more of a somber tone of JR. You know what I mean? Wasn't too many double time flows in there. It wasn't nothing with a whole lot of bounce. It was just bars, good beats, you know what I mean? And just him kind of getting a lot of things off his chest. More importantly, like that Sundial song where all three of those guys went to different places talking about loss and just, remembering loved ones that passed away. I think that was a really, really, really dope song that would touch anybody. And again, like I said, especially the verse by King James. Umbra was another song that was the lead single that he dropped off of this project that is really dope. Penumbra, if I'm pronouncing that right. I like how he ended that off in terms of maybe it was a full thought, maybe it's going to be something to be continued in another series, because I'm sure him and Shamir are not done working. Like they just sound that good together between this one and the previous project with JR, Broken Easel. So that's my number 2. So from top to bottom, I think he's just like I said with Patty Honcho, just another guy that is too easy to say, hey, go listen to this guy, and he's gonna always come back with glowing reviews no matter who you send him to. So that's my number 2, bro. The Shadow and the Shade 2.
All right. Number 2 for me is going to be JR and King James, Weather Report 2. So man, this is like my morning ride right here. Like so I did purchase the CD from it and I pop it in. So it's like in the car and like on my drive, like that perfectly times me till I get to my job and everything. So yeah, but I love the blend of the meteorological interludes and how it fits with the master crafted and delivered bars throughout the project. As JR stated in the second hook on Scattered Showers, the right production can make a difference when painting lyrics. So, and I think they definitely did that on this right here. The blend that they have with their sound just works all the way through the project. It's only 5 songs. Wish they could have gave us believing you want more, but that'll give you just tend to just go back and repeat. But I mean, you know how JR does, as we done talked about numerous of his projects right now. He's far and beyond on like his lyricism, so his pen game and stuff like this. When he sit there and write and he delivers these, man, and he's not like we saying, we talk about these other lyricists sometimes, like they got the pen game and they can set up a bar perfectly, but then the delivery, but everything matches with JR, you know what I mean? It's already there. So like yeah. So he has I tell you what, let's give him a listen real quick. 2.3 seconds. Slaying imposters cause we don't deal with those types among us. A type of monster I write with punches, the price for some can go for the low till my logo bigger than Michael Duncan. The right production can make a difference when painting lyrics. A masterpiece just a wasted gift if you can't reveal it. Valet was drifting, I'm walking into my greatness, willing to choose violence, screw driving, I'm breaking Phillips, took a bag, now I structure deals, I'm balling Leangelo. I ask him how does it feel, ain't talking D'Angelo. Y'all niggas different when the camera roll, cool on the smoke like it's Camel Joe, but pussy is camel toe.
My anecdotes known to damage folk, and y'all can handle dope. I'm doing fine collecting mechanicals in a penthouse with the finest of botanicals. Day trading stocks, trying to watch where the candles go.
And he been on the tear lately too. He been on the tear lately. So King James been on a tear lately. Like it just depends on what you want. What you want.
Yeah,
clean
I mean,
up,
he
set
comes
up, man.
in
Clean up, man. They both good in either position.
Yeah, he comes in on that Haze songs on here, and he say once they hear my no, he comes in on the Sunset. That's what it is. And he says it's disgusting how we do production. Once again, emphasizing just how that they care about that production side and goes into it. So even people late know it's best not to sleep like a Kruger function. So what he said.
There's so many bars on here. You know what I think is dope about them, man, individually? Like they continuously introduce me to a new artist or just really bring them, to a forefront in terms of just, and they not afraid to get wit spitters. You know what I mean? They have spitters on the album like Ja King the Divine and KJ, like VA, Ty. You know what I mean? Previous project, Phil V, Grips. Like it's a lot of guys that actually can go, and all these guys have something in common. Have you figured that out? Like all these guys that be on King James projects and JR projects, they all silent killers. They all silent killers. Like you don't see them on social media like that. Like they not heavily promoting. Not saying that's a good or bad thing, but when they drop, they be impressive. It be impressive. So, you know, I like that approach too. You know what I mean? Just letting you know, is more than one way to skin a cat. You can be super present and be amongst the people, or you can fade the black, load up the clip, put the music out, and let it speak for yourself. And that works for me too.
Yeah, and they tend to do that a lot, man. And hopefully they keep the series going. It's part 2. They crafted perfectly, 4-5 songs real quick and out. Like love it.
Yeah, for sure. And that's not my number one, by the way. So I won't beat that down. I mean, I think we covered that.
That's your number one?
Well. That's my number one.
Oh man, well, that's good then. I got you covered. My number one is cheating. I'm cheating, Cash.
All right, go ahead. Do your thing. Do your thing, man. This is your podcast. You can cheat all you want. Go ahead. Make up the rules.
My number one, man, for the indie and EP, man, is it's gonna be RJ Payne, man.
That's an indie? Indie?
Yeah, no, I'm saying RJ Payne. No, I'm saying but I got Beautiful Pain Part 4. That was what I was gonna end it with. But as you know, we just recently reviewed his last offering. What was the name of it?
I want to argue so bad. I want to argue so bad. I want to call you out so damn bad. That man lacking on his picks. He just splitting them up.
Lacking? No, I'm giving you extra.
How you gonna split up an indie artist and put them on the full? How does that happen? Get into the review. Get it. Kill him.
So, if you was talking about just Beautiful Pain 4, man, that was the original one that was just going to be on there altogether, man. And this came out with my man. Question. No slight, nothing like this. RJ Payne sound like Loaded Lux a little bit, right? Loaded Lux, but with proper delivery.
Voice, yes. I could see is similar
That's what I'm
tone.
Saying. But proper delivery, you know what I mean? That's kind of how we always say, like, you know, Loaded Lux can do the battle thing, but every time he got on, like, he never like really killed a track. He kills a track though, you know what I mean?
Yeah. He stays in context with song structure. I haven't listened to Lux in years for his records.
Yeah. But I was just like, when I was catching, I was like, man, his voice sounds very similar. I'm gonna go back and I'm gonna put them side by side. I'm gonna listen to them.
Yeah, I don't even know what I would go to for a Lux mixtape or project.
No, I ain't gotta go for nothing. I'm talking about that voice. Like you said, the voice sounds similar to me. But back to it. RJ Payne, beautiful Pain 4. Mama Made It. Started off, that was his little intro. That was great. Then he came on with Tough Love, talking to his nephew on this one. A little bit more story driven. Is him his nephew going through some things, or acting out of line with his mom, and experiencing life, but he extend a hand, but then say don't when they extend a hand, don't bite it, you know what I mean? Because this can end real quick and stuff like this, or you disrespect your mother. Go through a whole little story on that, man. I really like that one. Then he got the curse, and it's about why he don't have no kids, you know what I mean? He explained what he has to go through and why he hasn't chosen to have a kid or something yet, right? And then you got what comes with it. This right here, man, I thought it was more for the people who don't just grasp the single line, more money, more problems. You know what I mean? He gives you that detailed report on what he meant by it. And he goes down and breaks down, like, as you get more and more in the industry, this part is going to come for you. As you get more and more money, this is going to happen. It's going to cause some divide in your family and all this other things. So he kind of breaks that down. I really love that. And then The Secret, Selfish on there. And then for if cocaine could talk 7, like just go back and listen to our review. That was this week, right? That was this week. That was it. Yeah, we just released that.
Yeah, we just released that.
I mean, go listen at that review.
Yeah, that review is a couple weeks ago.
Okay.
No, we just did it. If cocaine could talk, that's going to drop this week. The part 7.
Yeah. That one I'm talking about. So if cocaine could talk, go check out that review. I think we did a real good job on that. I'm not even going to waste the time on that since I'm kind of cheating anyway by throwing it on there. But I thought it was just on par with this one. And then they crafted that storytelling, you know what I mean? And the storytelling that it tells on if cocaine could talk 7 was the extension of Nino Brown. What if Nino Brown had survived? And, you know, where would it go there?
Leave them with that. So, if Nino Brown survived, if that intrigues you in the slightest, and you like those type of movies, you'll be highly impressed by how he delivered it.
Yeah, very concept type album, and he kept your attention throughout. So,
all right, man, it's tough. This the tough part. This the albums, man. You know what I mean? This is these are strictly on our preference. What we gravitated to the most easily. Bars I can remember the easiest, what I know I go to without having to prep for an interview if we've interviewed the artist, so on and so forth. So these are just joints that we genuinely enjoy. They retweet us or whatever it is. It's just shit we like. So, you know, again, harder to put on. That's all we really want to do out there is just give you stuff that we actually listen to and not what we think would make us look cool to people we don't know. So.
Yeah. So I'm going to tell you I start this one off since you started off the last one. I'll start this one off, man. All right, man. Number 5. It's going to be a new one that just came on the list. New album just came out. But, you know, you gave me an extra weekend. I got to listen to it a little bit more. And I thought for sure that it definitely fits in on here, man. And that's going to be the Phife Dawg Forever, man. Like,
wow.
We was talking about this. This is a posthumous album. Did I say it right?
You did.
Okay. Yeah. It's one of those albums, man. So, but they took their time from the time for his death, and they ain't rush it out like 2 to 3 months later. So, you can tell the love that they put into the song, put into the music and the album to structure it correctly, to give them a proper send off, and make this something you would want to come back to, and something that carries on his legacy in a good manner. You know what I mean? Like this could easily be mentioned when you talk about any of these tracks on here. When you talk about, hey, give me something that showing Phife Dawg, highlighting Phife Dawg where he kind of shines a little bit. Of course, you got his classic stuff, but then you can definitely go to any of this too. And it's saying like, throughout his time frame, he didn't lose a step on any of this. So yeah, but the songs I really liked on here, man, if you go back to our review, it's going to be some of the same stuff. But both of the Redman songs, man, I thought him and Redman on the track together, man, that was just pure gold. And you can tell the affinity that Redman had for Phife on those tracks. You know what I mean? He really gave it his all on that, but didn't outshine. They kind of was right there together on the track. So it's like they almost in the studio together. I don't know if that was recorded while he was still alive and they was in the studio, but it sounded like it could sound just like that. Like they wouldn't have did these tracks together. Then you had the Dear Dilla, the one that's gonna have with Q-Tip on there. So that was a good one. You had the one with Lil Brother, Two Live Forever. And yeah, man. And then the rest of the songs was good as well, man. Like this whole album, like I said, we done went through several artists who done passed, and then they don't get that proper send off. Like I don't think Sean Price ever got one. You know what I mean? That was just like a great.
They tried, but they tried. Yeah. Pop Smoke was the last one that was done really well as far as just recent artists, younger artists that passed away. DMX, it's like
DMX,
you know what I mean?
That's one I think they kind of messed up on. It may have a song here and there, but I mean, like that came out like a month and a half after. Should have spent a little bit more time on that.
He was working on it too, to their credit. Like, so maybe they put it out as the stuff he was actually working on. So with some last minute tweaks. So
Yeah,
again,
yeah.
you never know, man. But it's some of them are done right, some aren't. And this Fife one, like much to your point,
I would equate this to something like a Pac. You know what I mean? Now I ain't saying he's the same as Pac. I'm saying like how those albums came out as after Pac death, but they were still, hit worthy. They were still great music, and that was going on for years after Pac death. I'm saying this right here seemed like it was something that was crafted, and they wanted his legacy to live on a little bit. It was up to that.
For sure. Yeah, good pick, man, yo. Switching lanes completely. Free Game, number 5 for me. And you know who I'm talking about. Yo Gotti, man. Side B as well. He starts this thing. Like I'm always find myself enjoying Yo Gotti. Ever since like he just does the perfect mixture of he'll give me the soul samples with the southern twang and southern twist to it. He gives life to those soul samples, you know what I mean? And I personally catch myself spitting a couple bars at the end when he leave an open verse, open beat. You know what I mean? Because the beats be jamming. Like he start off with collect calls, giving back. Giving back was just one of the hardest. Yeah, hard. That was hard. Then Cold Gangster shit with 42 Doug, ESTG. ESTG is one of my favorite young rappers that's doing it. Out of Louisville, you know what I'm saying? Like you know what I'm saying? These cats are coming out of nowhere now, like places that typically don't read certain type of rappers. Like so, Yo Gotti is tapping in with people from all over. You know what I mean? Just got signed Mozzie as well. You know what I'm saying to his label as well. So they moving and shaking. But back to this project, he also has Bitch with Moneybag Yo. Kodak Black, I'ma show you. Thinking Hours, If I Ever Thought, No Matter What, Strapped in Calabasas, Palm Trees in Memphis, Just Left the Hamptons. Like I'm giving you at least 7 to 10 joints, and this is a double album. This is hard to do in this day and age where you keep my attention. I'm not saying the entire is flawless from top to bottom, but I'm saying you can literally take 8 joints off of the first side and 8 off of the second, and you would be totally cool playing and riding this in any setting, whether you listening just to listen to some dope raps, or you listening to get some game as it's intended, or you just listening to be in the gym and just hear some shit that has a nice multitude of different layers to it. You know what I mean? I think Yo Gotti is one of the doper rappers, one of the doper execs. To me, it doesn't matter where he comes from. It matters what he's saying in the message. And I rock with his music. And that's despite all of the other shit that's surrounding, the music and the untimely death of Young Dolph, So that street shit that I'm, not privy to, you know what I mean? But he did address it slightly on this album. But again, I think the album dropped so closely to Young Dolph passing. I don't know if we really going to get that from Gotti, because he doesn't seem like the type to really address that type of stuff. But that's real life. So that gotta wait. If we learned anything from Jeezy and Gucci Man, like you gotta, you don't want to.
Gucci still out here doing it. He just did
right.
That
You just don't want to come out.
Easter.
Right. You just don't want to come out talking about certain things like that when it really involves street shit with street guys. And he gotta be in Memphis, you know what I'm saying, to do business. So family probably still lives in Memphis. So smart move by keeping it above board and keeping it rap. So again, that's my number 5.
Well, Cash, my number 4 is Yo Gotti. So we're gonna keep it moving. Exactly what you had said. I think I talked in depth on this, like when it came out, man. I listened at side B first, because that's the one with him in the suit that didn't have all the little trap beats, had more like that heat maker beats. Is when he went in, he initially started talking about the Dolph thing, and then he had a song on there. What was it? What was the name of the song? Was it Crypto? One of the songs he was talking about, all the people that he put on, it was
it's
with
Crypto.
Nicki Minaj.
It's Crypto.
Yeah, it was crypto, right? Yeah, so Nicki, who he's talking about Nicki Minaj, Drake, and all them, like how he kind of like, you know, got them on, and then he got a three songs like run that if you ride with me, Cash, these three songs, that song come on, and you try to skip any of them here, I'm liable to put your ass out. You're gonna have to walk the rest of the way. And that's that Strapped in Calabasas, Palm Trees in Memphis, and Just Left the Hamptons. When
That's
those
it.
three, when
That's
that
the
one
run.
song come on, they're like,
That's the
I'm playing
run.
them right. Like, don't touch the radio. I'm hearing these out, man. So yeah, but yeah, great album, man. Yo Gotti did it again. I think he on his last one he did. He ended up making. He came out at the beginning of the year, top of the year, just like he did this year, and it was still heavy in rotation at the end of the year. It still made my top 10 list, and that's that's kind of hard to do most of the time. When you come out at the top of the year, January, February, and still got people listening at your music heavy in December. So
Tangent time.
Go ahead.
Yo Gotti, never change subject matter. Pusha T, this is what I'm telling them. Never change your subject matter. Redman, never change your subject matter. I'm just, you know what I mean? Like, Benny, never change your subject matter. Do what you do best. Like artists like that, to where we want to hear, I want to hear where he goes and takes this next. I just want you to keep doing the same thing with different beats and more experiences and entering that into the music as well. As you grow, I want to hear the growth, but ultimately I don't want you to leave the core. You know what I mean? I want you to still stick to your core, and there's a lane for that. You know what I mean? Recently my mind was blown by so many rappers that I know why I come to them. You know what I mean? And that's why I come to them, for certain type of sounds. And if they knock that out the park with about 70% of the project, and they do some different shit and I actually like it, more power to them. But I don't like for my artists to change too much. I'm switching tune. So never change.
Something I've been thinking about, man, since we're on the tangent and stuff like that. It was just like, do I need my artists to hit and do everything like they used to? Because I used to go buy an album, and I would, so I want this album to have for like every mood, every situation. That's the reason they usually have the girl song, the club song, then they'll have the the hard song, then they have the real life songs. And they had it sprinkled out throughout the whole album. They had to hit on all those little notes, right? The formula of it, right? But now, like, bro, like, I don't go buy a CD or nothing like that. I mean, good on you if you get me to go buy a CD and stuff like this, because I really want to support you and all this little things. But more than likely, I'm going off my Tidal, Spotify, whatever, right? I take your damn songs I like, put on a playlist, and I play the person who does those love songs or those other songs, and I include them on a playlist. And
I have an entire playlist dedicated to that.
Formula.
I got the formula. I got my entire formula playlist.
So I'm just saying, if you know that you don't really like hitting those zones, like you may have tried it, you don't hit it, start dropping EPs on the damn thing. Unless you sign to a label, they forcing you to do this, man. But probably just narrow down your output to dropping a couple EPs and just keep feeding people that way. You know what I mean? That may be the lane that you need to go.
President, it's vice versa. When you try to speak some real talk shit, when you're not a deep person or a deep rapper that really taps into that introspective bag. Like, don't get in your introspective bag if you're not an introspective rapper. Like, that's even worse than you getting in your girl bag. That's even worse. Like, motherfucker, you ain't got no emotions, man. Stop trying to tap in, man.
So I'm off the tangent, but yeah, that's kind of how I work, and I get what you're saying. Like, hey, if you're gonna be those type of artists, man, I think Push knows this, and he has known it for the past couple of albums. He ain't giving us more than like 12, 13 songs, and that's at the top mark. But usually on that last couple, where he gave us like 7 to 9, and he out.
Don't overstay your welcome. That's how you get album of the year and get kudos. Gotta go with what works, man. Like people don't want to hear you talk their head off. Give me about 25 minutes and be gone. You know what I mean? Just enough for the car ride to work, like you said earlier.
Yep. And if you go back and you watch some of our episodes, we've been talking this for a minute. That was when we first caught on the Earth Gang. I was talking about that's what we liked about Earth Gang, how they kind of dropped those 4-5 songs, and they was doing it practically every quarter at a point in time. Like, so yeah. All right, so number 3, what you got? It's on me. That's on me, right?
No, it's on me. I did number 5. I only mentioned Yo Gotti, and then you mentioned Yo Gotti.
Oh, number 4.
So yeah, we on number 4. So for number 4 for me, tough one. So we doing honorable mentions later. Damn it, man. I'm gonna stay with Nick Grant and Loveland. I'm gonna stay right there with it, man. I just think it came out of nowhere for me, and I didn't know that I was gonna enjoy this project as much as I enjoyed this project. I'm trying to go back to some of the songs so I can run it down for y'all.
Mm-hmm.
Bear with
and
me.
y'all can listen to him become a hypocrite right before your eyes.
Yeah,
he just spoke one way, and now somebody goes out and tries something a little bit different, and he fell in love with that style. And go ahead.
I don't know what you got. I like you for what I like you for, but if you do a different bag and it wins me over, that's even better. Welcome to the Hypocritical Rap Podcast. Don't see on the Couch Podcast. Full of hypocritical takes, but I know y'all know what I mean. Stay with me for the nuanced explanation. All right. So I didn't know Nick Grant had this 70s bag and could sing and could do all of this different type of blaxploitation type of shit. Like I didn't know he had this. Like he actually made a record. Like this is a jam, man. Like, and I'm ashamed more people aren't talking about it. You know what I mean? Cupid is a woman, Love and Other Drugs, Brutal Honesty, Zombies, Mary Jane. Like this whole shit is knocking. Gangsta Lean, you know, like, and he practically, you know, did this with no big features, you know, so to speak, from people. The production is insane. Like I would have loved to be in these studio sessions because it feels different, man. It feels like the production and the artistry just married together. So I mentioned a few of those songs. Loveland by Nick Grant. Go check out our review on there or one of our podcast episodes. Go scroll the multiple episodes. Maybe we put it in the comments. Maybe we won't. But I guarantee y'all will rock with this album, man. And then if you really knew what Nick Grant does on the mic, boy, oh boy, you gonna be impressed if you go to any of his EPs or any project.
Go check out A Room Full of Mirrors. Go check out A Room Full of Mirrors that he just recently dropped with a collective of spitters on with TDE Punch on TDE. They put together a group 4? And it was no. But I was just saying, I was trying to give it away. And tell me who really shines and stands out on that.
Different type of beast, different type of animal. I'm trying to tell y'all. You got bars, man. So that's my number 4. Once again, Nick Grant with Loveland. Y'all check it out. Pink cover, real psychedelic, real, you know, roll one to it, smoke something. You know what I mean? Lay back, enjoy it.
So number 3 for me is going to be Kodak Black, Back for Everything, right? So man, with this one, I don't know. I like Kodak. I've been like I love his music. I have arguments on the regular with Cash because like he don't understand his catalog. When I be going back, listen to it, I go on like little some months I'll be like,
Kodak
man, I'm going
binges.
back and I'm listening.
He go on Kodak binges, boy. Been listening to a little bit of that Kodak this week. I'm like, really? But that's his guy, man. I don't understand it, but I understand it. I mean, you from the South, so you know it's every now and then.
But his flow and everything, man, the way he got to sing song, like, and kind of like I understand it's part of what everybody's doing, but he does it. The sound of it is different from everybody else. You know what I mean? And you know, the fact that he can just sit there and just do it, like you've seen plenty of interviews, and he does it still in that little way as well. So I just appreciate that sound that he creates that's so unique. And I think that's kind of where it kind of stands out for me a little bit. And then some of those tunes be like just catchy, man, stick with you. Like on this one, you had Smackers, you had Sink My Ship, you had Midas Touch, you had Usain Boo. I know that was one that you like too. You had Elite Division, Hidden Houses. That's like the jam on this thing for me. And Take You Back featuring Lil Durk. Then I know everybody heard Super Gremlin before. That was like one. And then you had I Wish and then Love and War. I like those two. So there's a lot of songs on here I like. I ain't many I don't like. I listened to this album thoroughly, through and through, several times, over and over. It stay on repeat.
Definitely a good thing in this climate when with so much music we listen to, you know, for something to be able to have what, you know, more than 12, 13 songs, and for you to really be into it that much, it just goes to show you that you can still make an extended length album, but you know what I mean, it's only a select few that, you know, be able to carry it out the entire job, like back in the day when the album was 14 to 17 songs. So
yeah,
shout out to Kodak, man. At number 3 for me, this was an easy choice. I continuously bumped this album mainly because of the production, and second, the lyrics. So I just gravitate to it. And this album is called Food for Thought by Che Noir. She's grown leaps and bounds, you know, over the course of her last couple projects with Apollo Brown and just things that she's released over the last 3 to 4 years. You know what I mean? But this is her culmination as a producer, as a rapper, did the entire project. You know what I mean?
She produced it too?
Yeah. That's why I hold it in such high regard, because you wouldn't know. You would think this was from somebody established as a producer, and she's been doing production for quite some time. But I think this is the first time that she's done an entire project, skits and everything. You know, it fit together. She has a lot of good features on here. She has Sev the Genius, Amani Caesar, you know, from Griselda, Sev the Genius, you know, from Drum Work with Conway. So keeping it in the family. 38 Special she has on here. She also has
3, right?
Yep, with Ransom. Like, she's fired, man. Like, you can't even say she holds her own or nothing like that, you know, because that would be a slight. You know what I mean? Like, it's just, she's just dope, period. You know what I mean? And I need more people to actually put her up there in the talks of albums of the year, of, you know, dope spitters, you know what I mean? Because she's spitting that heat, man, and she's barely even tapping into like some of the things that she could tap into as a woman. You know what I mean? Like, she hasn't even gone there yet. You know what I mean? She's just still rapping you and barring your head off. So I could see the growth trying to peek in on this Food for Thought with being a lot more introspective than I've heard her be in the past. So y'all watch out, man. Table for 3, Gold Cutlery with Rome Streets, another artist that's growing on me. Didn't initially, you know, ride the wave, but as I sat back and paid attention and started to kind of diving into his, you know, essentially with Ransom and other projects, he's starting to grow on me for sure. So again, Food for Thought, really quick listen, about less than 30 minutes. Y'all definitely gonna rock with the production and the lyrics. Yeah, bar heavy. Check it out.
Yeah. All right. With me, I'm gonna number 2, gonna be Benny the Butcher, Tana Talk 4. Man, this thing came out to a little bit of controversy, like off the jump. You know, people was hailing it. They was looking for, you know, album Benny, and I don't know why they was looking for that on Tenor Talk 4. This is more that street talk that he gonna give you, real heavy street talk like on here. But I do think he got radio presence on this type of album with the first single that came out, which I think is going to end up being Song of the Year, Verse of the Year, in competition for that constantly. The Johnny P's Caddy with J. Cole. That song alone makes this whole album gets ton of replay, you know, coming back for it, checking for it. But Yeah, but he came back with it too, back for 2 times right after that with Stove God Cooks. You had Weekend at Perry's with Boldy James. Hey, Weekend in the Perry's with Boldy James. You had 10 More Commandments, which I like. Cash don't really like. I just like the whole the storytelling aspect of it. You know how it's coming with just adding a couple more commandments, updating it for today's audience. Do you need me to come out or keep going?
Yeah, I need just come out and come back in.
What was that? I just kick up where I left off, right?
You left off on Boldy James.
No, yeah, on Boulder James. Then you had 10 More Commandments with track Cash didn't like, but I did just love the updating of the story element to it, of it just continue going on, telling, liven it up a little bit more for today's rule and how they kind of fit in. The beat and stuff, I can get what you were saying. You go back and listen to it. Yeah, I see how I don't catch that original, like that the first one had that rawness of it, but the lyrics and what he's saying, I think kind of fits with what was going on. And I appreciate that little portion, just updating it, because some real shit that he's talking on there, just about, the updates and stuff you should be doing. So then you had Tyson versus Ali with him and Conway, and Uncle Bun with 38 Special.
I like that one a lot.
And then you had the Guerrero with West Side Gun, and then Busta Brick Nick. Yeah, those are the standout tracks for me and what I liked on here. But gets heavy play, man. Still, man. Benny came up on the scene a couple years ago, man. Through West Side Gun, that whole team has flourished, and they're now as a crew coming out on top, and they kind of splintered off even a little bit, and they still dominating as Griselda as a collective. So I think Benny is at Def Jam. You have Conway that's on with Eminem with the Shady Records, and then Westside still independent.
Westside still independent as of right now, and Conway is currently officially independent after dropping God Don't Make Mistakes. So he's off Shady.
Oh, okay. So there you go. And I think they, Benny has been the standout one for me, but I mean, all of them, got their little mark. I think Westside is one you were saying that kind of brought them all in. Westside I prefer in doses, so I prefer them on albums and features and stuff. I know other people think totally different, but it's just, hey, it's me. It's just like I can't deal with that. The voice, the tone of his voice, like for a continuous album, but like when it's featured, he's just like the right amount that adds a little flavor to an album that kind of sets it off and stuff like this. So really do appreciate that. Benny maintained his status with me. He had the one little fall off last year with that Picasso one, Pyrex Picasso.
I don't know
kind of shaky
about.
right there.
I don't even remember.
that release was shaky, but everything else that he's released, man, has been pretty much great, man. So like that. And Tana Talks, Street Talk. When I get the Hit Boy produced or whatever is it, whatever else he gonna have, the wind plugs, the plugs I made or whatever that's gonna be over here, that's I expect a little bit different,
Yeah. We got into that. I think we covered. I don't know if we put a video out for the Benny Tana Talk. I don't think we put a video out for Tana Talk 4. So y'all check that out. Listen to that. We went down a rabbit hole on Benny. So it is what it is, man. So that was a good cover though. Good cover. Dope album. It's right outside of my 5. Right outside of my 5. So I don't have it.
Caddy is a classic ass song. That will go. That's what I'm gonna remember.
That's gonna be one of the songs of the year.
And that's gonna be one that's gonna be one that's gonna be in the catalogs. I think that's gonna keep coming back for it. That they're gonna pinpoint when they're talking about either Benny or J. Cole's career. Those are gonna be some of their top songs. You're gonna always see those on years down the road, the greatest hits and stuff like this. You gotta have that. Or it's gonna be
hopefully in Dreamville's concert, Benny's able to make that concert and they perform that song together. That would be fire at the Dreamville Fest. So that'll be dope if he's there at the moment. So hopefully so, man. But for me, number 2, staying in the Griselda team, drum work song, Conway the Machine. God Don't Make Mistakes. That's my number 2. From top to bottom, fire. Got the polish on there of a Shady Records, but they let him, they let him, his artistry proved to be, seen through. It seemed like the perfect balance. You know what I mean? The first half of the project sounds polished. You have features from T.I., and Lil Wayne, Rick Ross, Beanie Siegel. But again, it seems like all these guys, even his team, he got his team on here too. Seven Genius, Jay Skis, so everybody came with it. But the thing I often worry about with guys from the underground that we love, that we rock with, is when they do start having these big features, do they get lost or do they stand out? Because he's what's right now. You know what I mean? We've heard Rick Ross over and over again, heard Lil Wayne, T.I. Are they still capable to pull the vet move and steal the show? Or is it the guy that's doing it right now that's super active? Are they going to be just accents to what he's doing and they come into his world? That's what you hope for. Hope that they come into the artist's world. And that's exactly what they did. You know what I mean? But at no means with these type of features, did Conway get lost. So Tear Gas, Piano Love, still one of the hardest beats to me that's dropped when you're talking about that raw, gritty rap. John Woo Flick, classic Griselda shit with Westside and Benny. Stressed with Wallow. That's one of my favorite songs. Like every time, going through a little things, like you want to have those songs that you can kind of go to when you feel in the same way as the artist. But by far, the song that takes the cake is Chanel Pearls. Chanel Pearls featuring Jill Scott, who is singing and spitting a 16. Boy, I didn't expect it. Fire verse, I would never thought anybody would have got Jill Scott to spit a 16, but she did on something made her do it on Conway's project, and that's what really kind of brought it up a level for me with just the wow factor. You know what I mean? So overall, solid production throughout. Can't say enough good things about this. This will be in rotation all year long. You know what I mean? It got something for everybody on here.
Yep. Takes us to number 1, Cash. Number one for me, man, is going to be the guy that I think I got to go back and look. Pretty sure he was top of the list though. He wasn't number 1. He wasn't number 1, but it was close. It was close up there. Nas with King Disease 2. That was like up in there, right?
At the end of the year. Yep.
At the end of the year, that came out, and I told you how that album felt like it was the album that should have came right after DJ Khaled's, when he sit there and he did the album's done. King Disease 2 felt like that album that should have followed that. And that was finally getting that. We was getting peak Nas, that performance level.
Mm-hmm.
Couldn't have been happier. Made it on my list at the end of the year. I'm ecstatic. But then he gonna lo and behold pull this DMX bullshit and give us another one 6 months later. He give us Nas Magic. And just like with DMX, I love both of them. This one right here, the Nas Magic, man, hit that same note, man, for me. And really loved everything about it. Only 9 songs come on it. But Meet Joe Black, Speechless, man, 4016 Building, Woo for the Children, Wave Gods with ASAP, love that one. And Dedicated, man. Those standout tracks for me, man. But 9 songs, he ain't do no wrongs on none of them. Love it all the way through. Pure masterpiece, man. I'm not gonna run out like everybody else and be calling these classic. Still waiting on it, seeing how it continually feels throughout the year. I really love King Disease too. I'm right at the point where I'm about to, call that one a classic.
Oh,
but if he do
shit.
2 classics,
okay.
But if he do 2 classics in the year, just like with the DMX, man, like that's historic to me, man. Nas, man.
Still got
been
it.
in the game since
After
the
all these
90s,
years.
man, and still can do it, man. That's hats off to him, man. So still sounds fresh, still sounds great, still sounds like he's leading the pack, still sounds like he is
powerful Grammy performance too.
Yeah, this was his Tom Brady performance. Should I say it like that? You know what I mean?
Just
You
showing what a
old.
GOAT
You ain't supposed
does.
to be. You ain't supposed to be here on these last couple games here. Nas, you supposed to be. You supposed to be doing your little couple little songs. Go back to you doing the hits. That's where you supposed to be at in your career. But nah, he's still coming with new material and still making it, taking it there. You know, elevating the whole rap game, and that's what I kind of how I felt like with Nas.
Him and other
Storytelling.
vets.
You're always gonna come back to that.
Yeah, him and other vets, they don't have to do this, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, they don't have to still have the passion to do it. And only certain people can pull that out of them. Production and amping them up and making them feel like old times again. You know, so as much shit that Hit Boy gets from the producer community, because I see it. I see it online. Of course, you're going to see more of the some of it is critical analysis. Same way we do music and listening to it is the same way you'll see producers do, you know, critical analysis of his beats. But somehow, some way, he's motivating Nas to be one of the best versions of Nas in the latter stages of his career. And it's dope, man. I always, you know, as I was younger and older artists would fall off, I would always think like, damn, you really don't lose your wits, because as you get older, you get wiser. So why aren't you getting better and making better music? You know what I mean? But again,
Makes sense.
Nas is not doing the formulaic stuff no more. Nas is doing exactly what we've always wanted our artists that age do. Make 10, 12 joints, very consistent, not chasing a sound. And it's being held in high regard. You know what I mean? Like, everybody that's done it, you know, him and Jay will be linked forever. But like 444, ain't no party records on there. It's just nothing but truth. And it resonated, right? You know what I mean? So that can work as well. And I think a lot of older artists.
Scarface is another one I know that kind of like did it with that what was the name of his album? Scarface, back in the early 2000s. The one he did for Def Jam that was just all him 10 songs in and out.
Yeah. I mean, even Scarface, you know, he hasn't dropped in a while due to, you know, kind of being sick.
No.
Deeply.
Yeah, he was sick. So.
Deeply Rooted, I think, is the last one that I listened to from Scarface. And that was like maybe, damn. It's 2015.
Yeah,
you know what I mean? But like, even then, Scarface, man, legend. I love what the legends are doing, man, and coming back and still doing
That's
it.
What I'm trying to think of. The Fix.
Yeah, the Fix. So, but yeah, so dope pick, man. Dope pick. Magic. We'll talk about Magic a little bit more. As far as our, you know, picks that didn't make these respective lists. So I'll get to my number one. It's Big K.R.I.T. Digital Roses Don't Die. Again, my 5 can really be a day in the life rolling with Cash. I had the highs and the lows, and that's really where it's at. You know what I mean? I got a Loveland. I have K.R.I.T., which is not a. Oh, go ahead. Ask your question, because I'm locked in.
Cash.
I'm locked in.
Yeah. We're gonna pull back on this, because I remember at the end of the year R&B list, I'm sitting there and I put Silk Sonic number 1. I said that vibe is just what they said, and just sets everything off totally different. Well, I think it's good, but you know, I don't need that type of setting on the other side. I don't know. Go back, run the tapes, check out what he said. But then he proceeds to give y'all 2 albums, not 2 months later, that's fall in that same type of vein and that feeling. Go ahead. Now you can go ahead.
Before I get back into the album, my retort is they are too talented to be ripping off super popular remakes and just really just singing over it with minimal updates to those remakes. Like, I didn't really feel no creativity in the album. Does it sound good? Yes, it's Bruno Mars. You know what I mean? Like, what do we expect from those 2 guys? Like, it's going to sound good. They're in the top level studios.
To be trendsetters, you know what I mean? Have other people, you know, start getting in that same mode and feel, come out, where it permeates into other genres as well. Maybe in the hip hop, and now you got Big Crit feeling this way. Now maybe you got Nick
Crit
Grant
always
feeling
been
this
doing
way.
it. Stop
Crit.
the presses. Stop it. Crit has always been in his bag like this. It's just an entire project like this. Crit has always had this groove with him. South Side to the Moon. You've heard a South Side to the Moon. You just hearing these types of songs for an entire project. Don't do Crit like that. Don't do Crit like that.
I ain't doing the Crit like that. I'm talking to Cash.
I'm about to mute this motherfucker, man. As I was saying, South Side to the Moon, Road Clean, Come Out to Play. That's a dope one. So Cool. Boring. Again, Prez doesn't like boring. Most boring this motherfucker I know in this world outside of this podcast, but I let him have it as far as not liking that song. And then also, man, Wet Lashes and Shot Glasses, that's my shit too, Prez. And More Than Roses is my shit too. I don't care what you got to say. This whole album is a vibe. I put this on in front of anybody. I put anybody on to this, any of the ladies, any of the fellas that just want to put this on during the kickback. This shit vibe. This is a vibe, man. Between this Nick Grant joint, minimal rapping. They're rapping on here, but they're showing their full level of artistry and they're reaching out to different bags. And again, when you do something I don't necessarily know you to do, I know you can do it, you can reach it, but you do it for an entire project and you bring it together. For me, job well done, because I'm hard to win over when you go zig left and zig right on me when I come to you for bars or for just some, my sub. When I come to you for that, when I want that knock, Crit, I want that knock. But when you do this and you do it well, I got to show love because, for me, when you change my mind and my heart, it's kind of like, Rocky winning over, what was it? Rocky 4 when he was running over Czechoslovakia. What was it, man? What was it? Russia or whatever?
Oh, Russia.
Russia. He just won over an entire nation by the way with Drago. He just won everybody over. He wasn't supposed to. They hated him at the beginning of the fight. By the end, they were like, this American ain't half bad. Terrible analogy, y'all. I know, but you get it. You get what I'm trying to say here. Big Crit, Digital Roses Don't Die, my number one. May switch up at the end of the year. So it's only a quarter. We only threw a quarter, people. So
I went through a quarter.
A lot of good music. You know what I mean? Check it out.
That's supposed to come in, and got a ton of other albums that's throughout the year. I know we're supposed to. They've been teasing the Kendrick, a little bit. But to speak on, can I say a little piece about the Crit?
Yeah, go ahead. Got you.
Yeah. It was on the outside looking in on mine. It was one of the ones that we'll get into honorable mentions. So
let's start off. I started off with that.
So only problem I had with the Big Crit album, man, you got to know that it's experimenting. You going out, you trying some new things. Everything ain't gonna go over with everybody. You know what I mean? Like, hey, you got to take the good and the bad, criticism and all that. Like that's how it goes, right? So I didn't the whole concept of the 4 elements and everything when it got to the water part, and he's talking about like the boring and the other couple songs that was on there. It was like 2 or 3 songs up in there. That part didn't kind of flow good for me. I didn't like those, so I take those in and out. But the other 75% of the album was great. Jam to it, love it. So you take out that boring part and those couple songs. I think it was like 3 songs in the water section. That was it. And I love this album. But other than that, thought it was pretty good.
Outside looking in for me in terms of albums, again, Magic. But you covered that really well. I still listen to Magic a lot, but I wasn't thinking about December at all. I was just kind of going from January. I wasn't thinking about the agreement we made. So good on you with keeping up with the agreement, or else Magic probably would have crept in here and bumped one of these projects out, because I still listen to that on the playlist a lot. But Earth Gang, man. Earth Gang, Ghetto Gods, another joint to where they're doing some of what they do, some of what they don't do. They could do the mainstream thing. So it doesn't really sound off when you hear them do it. You know what I mean? Because, they just sound good, man. You know, and I've made the mistake to compare them to Outkast in previous pods. I know I gotta pump my brakes on this, but man, they make some jamming ass music, man, and they're very unapologetic, weird in terms of just like the type of pockets they be in with rapping, but they're super creative. The songs on the project, you know, they got a lot of depth to their music. You know what I mean? I just hope that if you are not onto Earth Gang, me and Press been to like 2 of their shows, I believe, at this point now. So if y'all get with them, man, and you think it's just a mainstream joint, just bear with the album. Get through the whole album, listen to it, give it a fair chance. Don't listen to it on your iPhone speakers or your phone speakers. Let that joint not at the crib in your system or in your car if you have a system. If you don't, get one. What type of grown person doesn't have a decent system in their car? It's neither here nor there. Check it out, man. Ghetto Gods is a really dope one and a sleeper for me. And then what's the other one, man? Tana Talk 4. That's another
That's
one that
on you.
didn't quite make my list. Yeah, it didn't make my list.
Yeah,
So,
when you talk about, I had something to say. So when you were saying like about Earth Gang, you was talking about the different pockets and how they just blend in with all type of music. I was like, I remember like a song they had with Sam Henshaw. It's like Time to Go to Church, or Church, I think it was just called, but it was like Time to Go to Church, and they was on that song and still floated within those in that arena. You know what I mean? So a little bit more churchy type vibe, and
can't be boxed
it fit
in.
perfect. Yeah, man. So yeah, but go ahead. What you was talking about with
No, I was saying
Tana Talk?
Tana Talk 4 was on the outside looking in of my top 5. Again, I enjoyed the project, you know what I mean, but it's a slow burner for me, you know what I mean? Like I'm just going off the ones that out the gate, I was like, yes, I really enjoyed this. I kept going back to it. I didn't have to be prompted because we covering it for a podcast. I actually listen to all these projects in my leisure. I know the songs, you know what I mean? So it's just stuff like that, you know what I mean? That's an easy, you know, album to go to, you know, but I wanted to give the people a little bit of just really what I like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. So another one that was on the outside looking in for me was 2 Chainz, Dope Don't Sell Itself. Uh I know you were saying like it's kind of sub tier, but I mean I appreciated like everything that was on the album. I really enjoyed it. A little bit more up tempo vibe, but it was just like more like when I broke down all my songs and what I'm listening to, the pure numbers and everything, kind of got pushed on our side. But it probably would have been the strongest, like number 6 for me. Actually, like floating up in there. I like that 2 Chainz a lot. Um, gave the review on it. Go back, peep the review, tell you everything I liked about it. But yeah, it was a solid project, and I was happy that we was getting a lot of trap music in February. You know.
Yeah, because they
So
typically
that was
wait till a little later in the year to give you that hard trap shit that's gonna be, you know, playing with the windows down, you know, warm weather type joint. So
the true standout one there was the one the last song on the album where he was like showing his true range and he was like going in away from the trap stuff but actually going into the street sounds and the more East Coast like rappers.
with
He had a
Stove
couple of them,
God, yeah, Stove God
Stove
on the
God
joint.
and
Yep.
everything on that. Yeah. The Vlad TV, that's the name of it. Yeah.
Okay.
So
Yeah, I might have to revisit it. You know, I'm not opposed to it. Sometimes it's wrong time to listen to certain things. So I may have to go back to 2 Chainz because, like we said in our Dream Reel cover that we just dropped yesterday, that will be out on episode 155. Like Chainz is just one of those guys to where you just enjoy his energy and his quirky punchlines. You know what I mean? Like they're fire, but they also kind of, you know what I mean? Like it's just quirky, man. It's just quirky punchlines. That's the best way I could describe it. But you still enjoy it because it's so simple, but it's still hard at the end of the day. As for EPs, man, I got 3. I want to mention that I'm sure.
hold up. You want to say EPs or is that all
EPs
your
are
other albums?
indies. Yeah, I don't have no
Is
more
that
albums. I don't
huh?
have no more albums.
So I proposed a question to you probably about a month ago, and I could already foresee it, and it was coming off mine. That's what I was noticing, even with just as soon as the Kodak came out and everything. Like I seen it kind of creeping away. The Corday. how it was one of those albums that we was championing and waiting for it to come. But then when it came, nobody even gave it a chance to breathe. They surrounded with just all this other music and different vibes and everything, and they kind of got sandwiched in a little bit and kind of like pushed off. I still go back to the Corday, but
yeah, I haven't.
I don't know if I'm living with it as much as I live with the last album, with his first album.
The first album, and then an EP that dropped.
But I feel like he's rapping better on this album.
And that's crazy. Yeah, I gotta go back to it. I gotta go back to it. I do too.
But when you put it up with his rest of his competition, I honestly can't say I'm listening at that more than this.
It's good. It's good. But when I heard, I was on the bandwagon with the first project. I was on the bandwagon with the EP that he dropped right before the project. You know what I mean? So I think he did well, man. Like he went bar for bar with Wayne. I mean, like the start off of that project is pretty damn strong in terms of what he's saying at his age,
John Michael Super, Shallow's intro, Mama's Hood. Yeah, like it's
good. Like it's not like
name of the album from a bird's eye view.
Yeah, it's not no bad music on there. It just wasn't the instantaneous. I didn't fall in love with it, and if I got to go back and really listen to it, maybe I will catch something. So I'll say that I can honestly say I haven't naturally gone back to it, but I do remember those songs, and I do remember like, oh, these shits is fire when they was dropping that singles. Liked them, but yeah. Yeah, man. It is what it is. Sometimes it happens.
I seen it coming, man. I seen it coming, just like with what was getting on our plates and the music that was coming out, and just like when we reviewing these, those certain albums, I can see like just people the smile, the joy that come on your face. You know what I mean? Like, oh, this is good music. I'm ready to go back to listen at this album. You know what I mean? And it's just like
it's different. It's different. Different type of energy when we enjoy an album when we come on here. You know what I'm saying? You could just tell. You know what I'm saying, when you being very like right now, being very fine with our words because we like the young dude. You know what I mean? And we know it's not bad. It's just not one of them ones. It don't crack through. And sometimes it's like that when you're judging it like that. But I do enjoy a lot of the project. So, take that for what it is. Y'all go listen to it from a bird's eye view. Let us know.
Yeah. That's why people need to be very, very careful with their words on what they cry on classics and stuff like too soon. You gotta let it sit with you for a minute.
Let it breathe. You gotta let it breathe for sure. EPs from me, man, that I didn't mention, and all because the first two I'll mention, they just came out. Phil V, God's Earth. I mentioned it on a podcast, so I still need some time to sit with that. That came out like right around mid-March time frame. So definitely y'all want to check out Phil V's God's Earth. Also want to check out Eddie Kane's Wonderful World of Kano. And then Vega 7, The Ronin, and Machacha, The Lead Lined Wall. Now, that Vega shit, press. Damn it, man. Now that Vega the 7, press, I need you to listen to it this week. We don't need to cover it, have its own thing. If you want to, we can. I'm down. I'm down. But I'm going to implore my man King James or JR or whoever is one of y'all that know him. We got to get him on the pod because this motherfucker can go. Like, he can go. Like, and he got a good concept behind it. You know what I mean? So I want y'all to check out The Lead Lined Wall by Vega 7, The Ronin, and Machacha. It's some bars, some shit you're gonna have to decode. It's on some Lupe type shit. You know what I mean? Okay. Yeah.
Why don't you lead off with that?
Hey, you gotta. It's heavily decoded, man. It's heavily decoded, man. And he one of them. He one of them dudes, man. Like I first saw him on Mickey Fax had like a battle thing. Remember when King James did it a couple months ago, and they went up against each other, I believe. Or no. Ja King the Divine and Vega went head to head in the battle. Vega ended up edging him, but it was close. You know what I mean? And as we know, the young man can go and Ja King. So yeah, man. Check it out, man. I think you will rock with it, and I think you will rock with the Phil V as well. So, but yo, those are
And
my
then
three.
one last album that I give a little shout out to, man, was Earl Sweatshirt, the Sick, and
Another random groovy
but
joint.
I'm gonna give it some praise, but I'm gonna give it some why I don't make my list and all this stuff. It's the lo-fi beats. He live in that little era, that little footprint, and it's just like that dude who can rap. You know, he can say stuff, but he never like sequences enough to put it into like an album. It's always just a freestyle type thing, and at points it can get to what the part that we don't like about Currency. You know what I mean? Like or
High
that
raps.
draws people. Well, I'm just saying that he just like flowed and then it's just like just constantly going and it's just like no structure to some songs, some of the stuff that he says. It's just him just
Yeah.
getting off what's in his head. You know what I mean? So at certain points, I feel like okay, this is good. I can kind of zone out to it from time to time, but it's missing, the hook. It's missing, making telling a story and all this little things. He never has those elements in his
Yeah.
rhymes to me.
Yeah, because
Well, I
I
ain't gonna say
I
never.
enjoyed
I
it.
ain't listen to every I ain't never listened to everything he put out, but I know when something's thrown my way or I listen to it, he don't have much of that, should I say.
He don't make
You know
you
what I mean?
shit like that makes you not want to go back and discover who the artist is. You know what I'm saying? When they give you just enough and you're like, okay, this is dope. I know of Earl Sweatshirt and kind of what he comes from and the background, but when he gives you like nothing to really go back to, you know what I'm saying? Give you flashes in the pan. That's kind of where it stays.
Speaking of flashes on this album, it's 10 songs, 24 songs. He has two songs on here like Lobby INT and Titanic, where even though they're like lo-fi type beats, they play around with like a little trappy, little heavy bass type little thing on there, and it's him rhyming over. And I'm just like, why don't you just go all in? Why don't you just call up somebody, SG, ESTG, or Yo Gotti, Two
Random,
Chains,
random collab.
like even if you want to go low, like get you like I don't know who you're gonna get in the industry, but there's tons of trap rappers. You know what I mean? You could have got that and just went all in on a trap type beat, or do it like we've seen Lupe go all in on a trap type beat before. You know what I mean? They just kill it, on the song. So like, just don't play with it like this. Don't go halfway in on it. Like you went halfway and then you look like you. It just seems like you're scared. Then you're scared to go outside of your element a little bit. So you was almost there. Just do it.
We done with Earl the Sweatshirt for now.
Yeah.
I just want to give a shout out to my man Ye, Grammy Award winning Ye.
Get out of here, bro.
Jail.
Who the fuck cares about it?
Jail was the song.
Get out of here.
I'm
You
going
for real?
to jail tonight. Him and Jay.
That tells me everything I need to know, man. That tells me everything I need to know, man. That's
I
what
don't know why
won
that
the Grammy.
randomly popped in my head. You know what I'm saying? But
That's
something told me I got to see your facial reaction for that Grammy Award win. Shout out to Tyler and DJ Drama.
They only want you the most dumbest and the most ignorant stuff because they don't comprehend rapping. They don't understand hip hop. It's a bunch of people who don't understand the culture and everything that goes along with it that's going around and voting for this. That is a poppy type song, if I ever heard of it. That is the ignorant lyrics, don't really make sense and stuff like this. It's just dumb, just thrown out there. It makes sonically sound good, you know what I mean? Like, but I mean, like, nothing else about it is great. I'll take that back. J verse was good, you know what I mean? But Ye just going off on his little tangent halfway through the song.
Hey man, shout out to Tyler too, man.
That shit ain't winning at no BET Awards. That shit ain't winning at no.
Shout out to DJ Drama, Grammy Award
I
winning
will
DJ
give
Drama.
credit. I even though it was parts of it I didn't like about it, you know what I mean? I do respect that a lot of people liked that Tyler Creator. He brought back drum. I gave him credit for that and like continue like coming out. So that portion, I will say congratulate to those guys and everything. And I'm glad that somebody who's been in the game for a while, you know, getting their accolades and stuff like that. So
had to go to jail, had all his shit confiscated for some old dumb shit back in the day. So this is like a, you know, again, not pitting him against nobody, but like he was the DJ that when we was coming of age as young adults, that was just a theme song to our adulthood, you know what I mean, going out before the club, because they wasn't gonna play some of this shit that was on them drama tapes, but that was what got us to the club and ready to do our thing and have a good time. So shout out, I'm so much you know, young adult memories with the drama mixtapes. But yeah. So I want to give y'all one more, turn it up before we roll out.
they wasn't gonna give it to Nas 2 years in a row though. We knew that, right? That they wasn't gonna give it to him 2 years in a row.
But yeah, man. But yeah, it's episode, you know,
This ain't an episode.
this ain't an episode. This is Patreon. I'm so used to I'm so used to doing the Patreon. I'm in the regular episode. This is episode 1. Nah, this is for y'all. You know what I mean?
Thank
we
y'all
owe
for fucking with us. You know,
Yeah.
thank you for your donations, and it's gonna live out there for a while. We'll eventually release it whenever, but I mean, we're gonna let it live on just with the Patreon users for a minute. So, I know you're gonna let it live as a video too for a minute, too, right?
Yeah. I'm gonna upload it as is, piece it together. Ain't no edits and all, and y'all have it however y'all want it, audio or video, and we'll give it a, you know, week or so before we release it to everybody.
Okay.
All
right, then, man.
Yep. Episode.
Good one.
No
good
episode. Patreon.
No
Shout out.
episodes,
Love y'all.
bonus, man.
Bonus.
You so robotic over here.
I'm in automatic mode.